Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the very basics of how to get into Eurorack. The first steps that you need to take is you need to figure out what case you need. There's an awesome website that I'm going to flash on the screen, and I'm going to put a link down below, and that website is modulargrid.net. This allows you to pick a certain case size that you want, and then it also allows you to drop in modules and arrange your Eurorack or whatever other format modular synth that you want to lay out. And that allows you to plan ahead of time to see what kind of case or what modules you can actually fit in your case ahead of time. So the specific case that I have is a tip-top audio case, and I'll put some pictures on the screen now to show some different angles of it. But the reason why I got this case is because it has 2 rows of 84 or 104 HP, which is the width that you have here. The height's always 3U, each U being 1.75 inches. 104 HP left and right times 2, so I believe that's 208 HP. It has a power system already installed. As you can see here, I don't have this area covered. You can see all these individual power points in here that you can plug into. So there's plenty of points to plug into. There's plenty of space for beginner. This case is plastic, but it's very sturdy. But because of that, it allows it to be a lot cheaper. I'm assuming it makes it cheaper for them to mass produce it. Compared to a lot of the other cases online, I'll show some pictures of how expensive they can get and how big they can get. This is a good size for a beginner. Because in this case you can probably fit anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 of Eurorack modules in it, depending on what you're buying. So it's going to take you all to fill it up, depending on what you get. Another reason that I got it is because it has a bunch of different angles it can be stored at, as you saw in the picture. You can lay it up vertically like this, you can have it laying completely down, you can have it tilted about halfway. It's not perfect for someone who wants to have a case that goes in a certain carry case, meaning that if you're touring with this, you're going to need to find your own system for bringing it with you. They do offer some kind of solution, but it's not as ideal as some of the other options that are on the market. They list the power specifications and other specifications on the website and the data sheet, so you can see how much current that you can actually handle with this unit. When you're inputting your modules on modulargrid.net, it will tell you the power requirements of your unit. So you can compare it to the specs of what this offers, and you can see if this would actually meet your needs, aside from just the space requirements that you have. So after you overcome the first obstacle of what case should you actually get and how much room do you need, you need to actually be able to pick out some modules. So you need to be able to plan ahead of time of what kind of instrument you want to build. I think in most cases, the best solution for someone to get into this would be to buy some kind of semi-modular analog synth, such as the Moog Mother 32. The reason for this is that it allows you to get up and running instantly instead of having to get all these different modules or more. It gives you an oscillator with 2 different waveforms. It gives you an envelope generator. It gives you a MIDI input that then gets converted to various kinds of control voltages. It gives you a good filter. It is Moog. It gives you LFO. And it gives you a way to actually sync everything from your MIDI as well, because that's one of the MIDI control. Oh, also it has a step sequencer, so you can actually program sequences of notes on here and then use that to control it, so you don't actually have to play anything on your MIDI controller or your keyboard, which is a huge plus. So there are a bunch of different models of semi-modular synthesizers on the market for Eurorack. However, this is kind of the big one that's hot right now, so I would recommend checking it out and seeing if it meets your needs. It does have a certain sound associated with it. It's got the Moog sound and the Moog brand. So there's other ones. You can look online and see what's options. You also don't even have to get one that goes into Eurorack. You can get something like this that sits on your desk, and then it still has this patch bay that integrates with the rest of your system. But overall, I think this is a fantastic unit to get involved. So while you're thinking about what modules you should get, you need to be able to know ahead of time what kind of sounds you want to make, but at the same time that doesn't really make sense because you probably don't know enough about what you don't know before you're getting into it. So the very basic components you need an oscillator. You're probably going to want a filter immediately. You're going to want an output module so you can actually output the sound you're making to either headphones, speakers, or an audio interface to go into your computer to record. You're going to want some kind of VCA. You're going to probably want an LFO. So think about that. Aside from that, everything is just about what kind of sound you want. In terms of what I have here, and everything that I've purchased so far has been great. I have this semi-modular Moog Mother 32, which gives me a bunch of different functions. Also, it functions great by itself. I have this thing called Plunk, which is a percussive instrument creator. They have a big fancy subtitle for it, but it makes percussive sounds, and you can trigger it, you can save them, you can randomly generate them, whatever. Erica Synth's Pico VCO or oscillator. This gives you, I think, 16 different oscillators that you can create with, and also gives you an LFO switch. This disting thing I highly recommend. It gives you well over, I forget what the actual number is, 16 basic functions, and then I think the total is actually like 60 or something. But that will give you, reverb, delay. I think there's an envelope generator in there, LFO, oscillator. So this is a good thing to get at the beginning if you're not 100% sure what you actually want to get. This specific filter I saw recommended online. It's the Anti-Module SOB filter. I forget why people said they liked it, but I noticed that it has, right when you're controlling the resonance, when you're getting to the high point, it has this almost uncontrollably angerness to it. It gets to a point where you just kind of spin it out of control, and it does all sorts of unique, crazy stuff, so that's probably why people are pushing it. And I haven't even dealt with the control voltage stuff too much. I've just been playing it manually by controlling the cutoff and the resonance and the other features that I don't even necessarily understand. I've just been playing with it. This IntelliGel VCA is very nice because it doubles as a mixer. Also, I like that it has a bunch of different functions, it has one extra function I haven't seen on other VCAs, where you have this volume of the channel, but then this is actually what controls your VCA for that specific setting. So when you're using an envelope generator on this, if you turn this up, this will give you the bass sound that's coming in. But then if you turn it all the way down and then you turn this thing up, you're actually getting, the output of the audio being controlled by this. So I've seen other ones that I think they combine this into one knob, and I'm not really sure how that works because this is the only VCA that I actually have. This maths unit, I'm still wrapping my head around, but it's another one of these modules that can do a bunch of different things, and everyone seems to have and recommend it, which is why I got it. At the very basic level, it is an envelope generator, but it does a bunch of other stuff, so I highly recommend you watch a tutorial video on it and see the hundreds of different sounds that people make with it. The output module that I have over here is a Pittsburgh, I think it's called Lifeform Line or something. I don't know, the branding's a little weird on this, but you put your input signal out and then you can output it to an actual 1/4-inch jack to plug into your audio interface. It also has a separate headphone thing, which is good if you want to monitor with headphones as well. The rest of the equipment that I have in here currently I haven't been taking advantage of as much. It's useful. They're more utility functions, but they're not necessarily things you need immediately. This is what's called a buffered multiple, meaning that you can put an input here and it'll split it into 3 separate outputs. The buffered part of it means that it's powered, so that it's actually, if it's not buffered, that just means that it's a passive module. I mean, there's no power requirements for it. So it's just like putting a splitter on your cable. Whereas if it's powered, it's actually inputting the signal and making sure that the output signal is what I believe to be the same level. And it's if you're having power problems in your input, it's gonna make it so that it can't get cascaded to all the other ones. Like, let's say you're gonna fry something, it has some kind of protection. That's how that works. This 2 HP MIDI module I'm still having a little bit of trouble with, but you can plug in a USB port and it gives you some CV and gate outputs from the MIDI from your computer that you can split and send to other components in your Eurorack. This clock divider allows you to input one clock and then output various intervals or fractions of that clock. If you're inputting a bunch of quarter notes, then it splits it into half notes, whole notes, etc., going up down the line. So overall, I hope that gives you a relatively good understanding of what you need to be looking for in getting a case and what kind of modules you should look for to get up and running. The system that I have now, it seems to be plenty enough to have, I could probably use this for a year and I'd still be exploring everything. However, I do have a couple modules more coming in that will fill out up to here, and then I still have room to expand. And then these are just 3D printed blanks that I made, so I still have room down here to expand. So even after getting this stuff, I have plenty of room to expand. But this should give you an idea of the basic components that you should consider when you want to get involved into modular synthesis and specifically Eurorack. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe for more. I upload videos every single Friday, and I'll see you later. Bye.